is happening, people? It is Brian Alsruhe, neverstate.com, and the title's actually not clickbait. If you guys do this correctly and you can apply it the right way, I can just about guarantee that by the end of this video, you'll be able to lift more weight. And the simplest way to quickly increase the amount of weight that a person can move is simply by increasing their stability. Now, a lot of you came to this channel because of my breathing and bracing videos. A lot of you know me as like the breathing and bracing guy, all right? However, when I go into any situation, whether it be EliteFTS, anyone's gym, talking to someone online, I always try to go with that wipeout mentality of like, I can always learn something. And especially when you're at a place like EliteFTS where there's all these like elite world champion powerlifters and stuff, you keep your mouth closed and you keep your ears open, and I actually had a notebook with me the entire time because as they started talking about breathing and bracing, I just started getting my head absolutely exploded because they were using different cues and different things that were basically saying the same things. However, it might be a better way to explain it or something you guys might know more. And then there were other things that completely blew my mind that I had no idea about, like the fact that Dave at the very beginning was talking to one of his athletes and he said, take in your air, when you're talking about breathing and bracing, take in your air first through your nose, as much as you can through your nose, and then finish it with your mouth and you'll be able to get a lot more air. However, if you start with your mouth and then you finish with your nose, you won't be able to get nearly as much. And of course, me being me, I'm like, yeah, but no, whatever. And then I tried it. Yep. It's true. And if you guys try it, wherever you're at right now, I'm gonna be asking you to try a lot of things throughout this video, but if you do, give it a shot right now. Take in as much diaphragmatic breathing, try to get that air into your belly, try taking as much as possible, first breathing through your nose, and then finish with your mouth, and you'll see you can get a lot more air. Now, conversely, do it the other way. Try taking as much air into your belly as you can through your mouth, now go through your nose, and you can't get nearly as much. And that immediately made me want to slap myself in the face because I never thought of that first. Thanks, Dave. So after that, naturally I became kind of a weird guy with my little notepad and was literally kind of stalking around people and just listening to what people were saying, different athletes were saying to each other, what Dave was saying to his athletes, what Dave was saying to himself, what people were saying to Dave, all those different things, and just was taking notes of things that like I hadn't heard or put into ways that I hadn't explained in that sort of manner. Now, if you guys have not seen my original breathing and bracing videos, I would highly encourage that you go check those out. I will leave a link to those in the description down below because I'm gonna be using a very similar vernacular to a lot of stuff from those videos that if you guys don't watch and you're not familiar, then this one's probably gonna seem a little bit like Greek because I'm taking a lot of those ideas and principles and just kind of expanding upon them now. Now, with all of that in mind, today's lesson is going to be best if you guys are using some sort of belt. I'm not saying that none of this will work if you are just strictly a beltless lifter. It will absolutely work, no problem. However, for today, if you're gonna do these little cues with us, like the breathing things, it would help to have some sort of physical cue to push against. So I would highly encourage that either you use your hands on your belly, or if you do have your lifting belt, go ahead and grab that. You don't even need to have a lifting belt. It could be like an old karate belt. It could be a belt from Walmart. It doesn't really matter. Just something that puts a little bit of pressure on your little tiny tummy so that we can learn how to use it correctly so we can lift big weights. All right, before all of this glorious learning begins, I just want to do a little bit of PSA and say that there could be some of you out there that are wearing your lifting belt a little bit too tight. I'm not saying that you should wear it loose, but I am saying that if you have it cinched so tight that your kidneys are making out with your liver, then you're probably not able to leave enough room to get a big belly breath to actually do the technique that I'm talking about, which leads me to the biggest mistake that I see everywhere online, that Dave talked about, that I deal with my athletes, that I deal with myself, and that is taking the air into your chest. If there's not enough room in that belt, you're definitely going to do that. But what I'm talking about here is when you tell someone to take a big belly or big air and they go, and their chest and their shoulders rise, all right? Now, I'm gonna be using terms in this video like taking air into your chest or taking air into your belly, and of course, I understand that you cannot physically take air into your belly, but what I'm talking about is diaphragmatic breathing, all right? There's a difference. If you watch how a baby sleeps, its stomach rises and falls, rises and falls. If you watch how an adult breathes, they go like this. We want to get away from the chest heaving, shoulder rising and falling, and go back to that belly breathing, because the number one problem that I see in all breathing and bracing right now is that when people try to get as much air as they can to brace it down, they take it into their chest. They get this big rise, and that's already problematic because it's making you taller, and changing your center of balance to make you taller almost never makes you more stable, all right? You wanna think short, squat, fat, petulant child that doesn't want to be picked up. You guys have all tried to pick up a kid who didn't want to be picked up. It's a heavy kid. That's how you want to be. If you're taking air into your chest, That's the opposite of what you want to do. Not to mention the fact that we are talking about breathing and bracing, and this might cover some of the breathing process. However, if you guys take a huge breath into your chest and then try to flex your abs super, super hard, you'll find you can't really do it because they're too extended. Instead of taking a big breath into your chest, what I would encourage you to do wherever you're at right now, stick your hands on your belly or stick a belt on, stick that Walmart belt on, do whatever you gotta do. Get a physical cue against your belly. From there, I want you through your nose, draw in as much air into your belly as possible, trying to get that hand to move as much physical distance as you can. All right, good. If you did that correctly, you should have felt your belly push either into your hand or against the belt, or whatever the case may be that is wrapped around you. It's your life. I'm not judging you whatsoever. However, do realize that we're only covering 1/4 of what we need to do, because when we're talking about a belt, I want you to think about your core being like a balloon. I've already talked about in my other videos about your core being like a soda can that's shaken up and how it can support weight and those types of things. For this one, I want you to think about a balloon. And if you're blowing up a balloon and it has a belt around it, it's going to get 360 degrees. Right now, a lot of you, when you took your breath, you literally just filled up your stomach, it pushed against the belt, and that was the end of it. Now, I want you to do the same thing again. Take as much air in through your nose as you possibly can and push that belly out against whatever physical force you have. Except now, once that is completely full, take in more air into that belly region through your mouth, except now fill up your obliques, fill your lower back, try to get a full 360-degree balloon filling up that belt type of situation. Now from there, flex your abs as hard as you possibly can. And you should find that the inner abdominal pressure that you have going on there is so strong that your face gets a little weird, you might see a little bit of stars. It's not something that you can hold for a very long amount of time because you haven't built tolerance for it. You absolutely can build tolerance the more time that you spend in that position. However, what you also should have felt is that your core, your entire torso felt fatter and wider than it probably ever has before. That is exactly what is gonna support the most weight in a deadlift, in a squat, in a yoke walk, in whatever it is that you are trying to move something heavy in. Fat guy in a little coat. So the reason why I'm putting this shirt on, number one, is because I'm getting ready to give it away to Goodwill. The second reason is because the way that a shirt feels when it is too small for you is the exact way that I want you to feel inside your belt. When you're pushing your belly and your lower back and your obliques, everything against it. You guys know when you have a shirt on that's like this, that is just a little bit too small, and you try to move in it, something that isn't stretchy, when you try to move, and it feels like you're gonna rip out the back, that's what I want your belt to feel like. When you're pushing against it, I want you to literally feel like the fibers are literally just gonna start popping and that buckle's gonna snap and it's just gonna explode. That is the type of pressure that you were looking for. Too hot for this nonsense. Now, a really interesting way to assess how you do take the air in your body is something called crocodile breathing. Now, that was just covered on Dave Tate's channel not that long ago by a guy named Joe Sullivan, and he did an amazing job. I do not want to steal any of that thunder, and there's no way that I would explain it as well as he did, so I will leave that link in the description down below. However, the idea of crocodile breathing is if you watch a crocodile laying down, wherever crocodile is laying down, and you watch it breathe, its entire body expands and contracts, all right? It's not like it just goes into its belly and it rises and falls. If you lay down on the ground with your hands above your head and you breathe and brace the same way that you do, like you would on a squat or a deadlift, you're gonna find a couple things. Number one, most likely your belly is the only thing making your body move. Two, with a little bit of practice, you can really start to raise the upper back area, like your erectors will start to fill up too, and you'll start to be able to do that, especially if a person is putting some type of physical cue on it, whether it be weight, hitting. These are all things that they cover in that other video. Again, I don't want to get too much into it, but ideally what you want to get to is thinking like how a crocodile looks when it breathes. A full expansion and contraction of its entire torso. That, if you can get that into a belt and stick some heavy weight on top of it, you'll be able to move a lot more weight than you currently are because you're getting a full 360-degree awareness in that belt as opposed to just literally 1/4. Now, for some practical application that I actually saw Dave do with a lot of his athletes was they were doing squats that day, so this is what I saw. I didn't see it in other exercises, so I can't speak to that, but before an athlete would be getting ready for a squat, they would stand right in front of the bar. It would not be on their back. Just stand up, lined up. From there, I'm pretty sure he had them visualizing the squat, seeing everything go the way that it's supposed to go, and then he would have them breathe and brace the exact same way that they're about to when that bar is on their back, except there's nothing loaded there. Now, those people would start to breathe and brace, and he would look for kind of weak points in that circle. So if it was in their lower back, he might stick his fingers in the belt where their lower back is and tell them to kind of push air there. If it's in their obliques, he would do there. If it's in the front, he would do there. The whole idea was that he was just trying to get people's minds to push more of that area of their torso out, so it created more of a 360-degree strong pillar for that squat to be supported by. That was the very last thing that he did. Told them to release it, get a couple more breaths, then swing underneath the bar, and they went into their squat. So that was the very last thing that they thought about. Because, guys, I'm telling you, most of the time, if you miss a squat or you miss a deadlift, that has nothing to do with the strength of your legs or the strength of your back. You can leg press a lot more than you can squat. It's not really about that. It's about the fact that your core is not full, tight, locked down, and being able to support the weight that's all moving. Because after all, you're nothing more than just a long stick, and that stick's most breakable point, weakest point, is in the middle, and that is right where your gut is. So if you can make that stronger, trust me, that entire structure and support system is just gonna be better off for whatever exercise you're trying to apply to. All right, guys, so there you go. Like I said, if you do this correctly, you apply these principles as well as the principles from my other breathing and bracing videos, you apply those things, I can guarantee you that you will automatically be stronger because you are just more stable, and stable things can move more weight. It's just how it is. I do hope every single one of you watching this was able to pull something from this that you can apply to your training. I do my best to make every single video as applicable as possible. I don't care about giving you knowledge for knowledge's sake. I only want to give you guys the things you can actually turn around and use the next day and hopefully see some results. So hopefully it is working. Leave in the comment section down below. Let me know if it is. I thank you guys so much just for absolutely everything. The programs, the t-shirts, the life, the sending me things. It's awesome. I like you guys so much. It is really, really cool. And literally I couldn't be living this dream without you guys. So I will catch up with you later in the week. Maybe Nala actually has to get a bunch of surgeries on some stuff. So if I don't see you, it's because I'm taking care of that pretty little girl. So don't hate me. I will catch up with you, maybe, maybe not. If I do or I don't go out to something amazing in my lives, keep working hard, people. Be nice to each other. I'm gonna be nice to my dog. See you later.